Welcome back, everybody. Ace Trainer Podcast, episode 7. We took a small break while Rose had to go away and do some cool Pokemon-related things, which we'll discuss a little bit later. It's been good to have a little bit of time off. Let the news compound, though, Rose.
Oh, for sure. Because I feel like we have a lot to talk about today, particularly with the trading card game, where
Oh, yeah.
I'm just super excited about all of the new stuff coming out. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah, there are so many new sets that have come out, or like not sets that have come out, but sets that have been previewed over the last couple of weeks. I guess we'll jump straight into it. Dark Phantasma is the new set
Yeah.
getting released in Japan, or one of the new sets is going to it's revealed and it's going to release soon. And it has a new reverse pattern. They also have the Hisuian Pokemon too, so they haven't been forgotten. They're slowly being rolled out. And I'm kind of glad they're doing it this way as well, Rose, where they're not just like cramming them all into one set. Although Japan, they tend to have a ton of sets, and then the English get like, 3 sets or 2 sets mashed into one. But even in Japan, boom, boom, boom. It's like set after set after set, continuing the Hisuian Pokemon vibe.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this. And like, particularly when it comes to the reverse holo pattern. I love that even with Brilliant Stars, the release that happened in the United States, that was really cool to see the emergence of a new energy graphic. So it wasn't like the old Sword and Shield with like the little flame. It has this beautiful, you know, radiant kind of glow that came through with Brilliant Stars, and it kind of looks like a supernova just exploded. And so that's really cool to see on the energy. So I like that they're switching it up a little bit. Keeps everything kind of fresh.
Yeah, and the freshness is obviously what they kind of need to keep doing. And I was actually thinking about this in more of a grand picture Pokemon trading card game picture the other day, in how it's funny that we've gone from Holos being good to then shining Pokemon being good in like the Neo Discovery era, and then EXs, and then Gold Stars, and then like it's just every few years it's just like something other, like a different tier of cards, or like just changing things up, which is really cool. And then you had the lowercase EXs, then the uppercase EXs for Diamond and Pearl and whatnot. And yeah, we've seen a ton of reverse pattern changes over the last 15 years or so, which has been really cool. And one thing to note with this pattern, this reminds me so heavily, Rose, of the old patterns from Red Fire Green Leaf, where you had the types as the reverse pattern, and they looked like holo cards, but they're technically reverses. So they have the reverse holo was in the portrait itself. That was one of the sets that didn't have the little logo. So for Unseen Forces, for example, it would have the Unseen Forces logo and then have a little holo reverse pattern. But like this Pokeball logo just heavily remind me of those Red Fire Green Leaf sets, where they had something that wasn't just like a different mirage of color. But this one's a little bit different. It has a complete, like the whole card is colored. I'm not sure if this is just concept art, but, well, it obviously is, but the whole thing. So it's not just like the outside border of the artwork, it's like the artwork as well.
I wonder if that's going to stick, because I
Yeah.
always feel as though there are definitely some graphical differences between the Japanese sets and the English sets. So I don't know if that's going to be a fully explored option to cover the entire card, or if we're really just going to end up seeing kind of just the border as we see it. Because I feel like in some Japanese sets, especially when you take a look at the holo overall, I think that covers the whole card. And that's not quite the same as in the English set, where it just covers the artwork.
Yeah, I've got one on screen right now, the Gengar, that's on the same page. We'll leave all the links down in the description below. Thank you, Poke Beach, for providing all this news, by the way. So it's just like the border of the card itself, like you were saying, and then the artwork itself has the lines. And the Japanese holos have always been really nice. So maybe this is kind of a change to that, where like the whole card is covered this time around. And I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of glad we're moving away from what we had before, because especially in the English set, the cards were, the reverses, they were dark. Like sometimes I felt like you couldn't even see the text. And that was a bit of a problem for me, because I'm like, whoa, well, I'm not like a crazy big player or anything, but at the same time, I'm like, I need to read the card. Like, I
Yeah.
want to have reverses because I want my deck to look cool, but I need to read it. So having it super dark like that kind of sucks. So maybe the Pokeball shift will be kind of cool. Another thing I wanted to point out too was the Radiant cards coming in this one. So completely
True.
different holo pattern. I'll bring up the Guard of War now. And they're using Radiant again. They had the Radiant collection a while ago, but I'm assuming Radiant cards, Rose, are going to be like the Prism cards where they're maybe replacing the reverse in the pack? I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, potentially. I do think that Radiant cards in the pack, if they end up becoming a larger part of the set, they might be like the amazing rares, right? That we
Yes,
just saw in like
yes.
Vivid Voltage. And so I feel like that would end up taking the reverse hollow slot, which could be really cool because I feel like one of the really neat things about being able to open some of the more modern sets is that you do sometimes get these packs that just have massive pulls in them where you have the reverse hollow and then you also have the big pull that's
Yeah,
taking up the rare slot in the pack.
I really like that. I think that's removing the normal reverse card and putting something extra special there is really cool. I really
Mhm.
enjoy that. I think in general, I can't imagine anybody hates that idea. Let's be real with that. Let's be real with ourselves here, because yeah, you get a reverse every single pack, but if you get something extra special, it's kind of cool, and it does open yourself up to like god packs too. Like you said, you get something
Yeah.
crazy. You get like a V Star or something, then you get like a cool like Radiant card. They have released, of course, Hisui and Zoroark V Star, which I have on the screen. It's pretty awesome. The color scheme in these ones, I think, are some of the best, or like these ultra rares are some of the best that we've seen in recent times, apart from
Mhm.
the classic like full art trainer cards which have crazy colors. But like just in general, I think V Maxes, they were pretty cool, but V Stars having all that galaxy and stuff around it, that boom, that hits me right in the feel
Yeah.
good part of the brain.
I absolutely agree with you. I remember when I was opening up Brilliant Stars for the first time and I saw the V Stars, I just went, these look so good. Yeah, VMAX is great. I do love that they have like the different artwork and they're more hollow and like it really looks cool. But V Stars, I definitely love the pattern there. And they're
Yeah.
also really good when you play with them. I can't
Yeah.
argue with that.
Yeah, they have to be really good. To be fair, they have to be pretty good because otherwise everybody uses VMAXs still. They want people to use
True.
the latest stuff. It's an interesting card layout too, of course. It's been out for a little while. I won't touch on it for too long, but yeah, with the it's like a poker body or poker power separated with the V
Hmm.
Star border, pretty sweet. Yeah, and you have a few more V Stars coming in Dark Phantasma, but yeah, there's some trainers too. It's going to be a good time. Another set that is on the horizon, as in it comes out very, very soon. The Pokemon Go set, Poker Beach
Yep.
put out a news article. First Pokemon Go TCG cards products revealed. The pack art we've already looked at, but oh my god! Of course they have the V Stars. They do, but they have the little
Yep.
logo with the Pokemon Go on it. But the not only do the V Stars look cool, the full art trainers are finally here. I'm scrolling all the way down to the bottom to look at these, but wow, they look crazy good.
Yeah, I am so pumped. Like, obviously, everybody knows Spark, Blanche, and Candela if you end up playing Pokemon Go. If you don't, then those are the leaders. And so that's like, Team Mystic. Always going to be Team Mystic. You can't change my mind. But it's just so cool to get to see them get the spotlight. And also, some of the cards, I was talking to a lot of TCG players. Some of these look absolutely broken. I like, am particularly looking at Pokestop, which is once during each player's turn, that player may discard 3 cards from the top of their deck. And if a player discarded any item cards this way, they get to put those item cards into their hand. And we've had a similar
Ooh,
looking card to this before, but the key difference here is you don't just pick one. If it ends up being 3 item cards, you get to keep them all. High risk, but high reward if you really need those item cards.
that is great. Like super deck thinning. Like you can get to the cards that you
Yeah.
need like ASAP as well. You're obviously kind of how many cards are in your deck. It's like Magic the Gathering 2 in a way. Like how many of one card is in your deck. So if you're just deck thinning looking for that card, like more often than not, you're
Mhm.
packing your deck full of item cards. You're gonna hit them a ton with Pokestop. Yeah, it looks like a sick card. I think in general, the Pokemon Go, especially the artwork, has been really cool too, because not only have they gone to the classic route where it's like, okay, Pokemon art, great, but they've also included like 3D renderings of a lot of the designs. And they also have, I've got it on screen, the Blissey, which is like the boss
Yeah.
gym leader Blissey, which looks really cool.
Yeah, Blissey is one of those Pokemon in Pokemon Go that you put that thing in a gym, it is so hard to take out. It's actually just so cool to see them put those little Easter eggs from Pokemon Go into the card game. So I love seeing that. And another one of the cards that I feel like is just so broken is Snorlax. Like Snorlax is another one of those really great defender Pokemon if you put them in the gym. But also, look at that ability. As long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, your opponent's active Pokemon can't retreat. That's busted, especially if you're able to lock in like a V-star into that spot that you know that you can take out. That's a lot of prize cards you're taking from the other person.
Yeah, an unbelievable amount. Plus, if you manage to get Snorlax on the bench, power up a little bit, swap him in, like 150 damage, that's a lot. Like they're probably, maybe the V-Star's already chunked out just a little bit, so you can just go in there and finish him off. Does fall asleep, of course, it's Snorlax.
Yeah.
You wouldn't not fall asleep. He wouldn't not fall asleep, it's real. But it seems pretty good. Just saying. Like I said, not the biggest brain on the TCG. That's you, most definitely. But like locking someone down, normally a good thing. Just score some of those prize cards. And it feels like, especially with things like Pokestop too, just like sifting through your deck and just finding like crazy cards. And you have Snorlax that locks their opponent down to their active Pokemon too, so they can't really react to things you're doing. Also seems really cool. They also put out some photos. This is all on the Pokemon Center website too, so you can pre-order a lot of the stuff. The normal Elite Trainer box, and of course the Pokemon Center version. It looks a little bit different. I'm more of a fan personally of the regular Elite Trainer box artwork. They have the Mewtwo on the front, the 3D rendered one. The box itself looks sweet, but I prefer classic Mewtwo. I'm more of a classic Mewtwo kind of guy. Maybe a little bit snobby, but...
No, I definitely understand what you mean, though. Like, the Pokemon Go art style is very different than what we know and what we're kind of accustomed to for just general TCG sets. And so it does look kind of jarring because I think it does have a bit of a more, like, cartoony style to it. Like, it just doesn't quite fit into the TCG as what we know. But I'm okay with it. You know, it's like we already know that it's going to be super different. It's Pokemon Go related. It's also an incredibly small set. I don't even actually know what this is going to look like. Like, is it normal booster packs? Like, does it have 10 cards in each
Yeah,
one? Or
well,
is
there
it kind
is...
of more like the McDonald's style or the Celebration style? It's 4.
No, it is 10 cards, it says on the pack, luckily. So that's... Yeah, but
Okay.
the set is small, though. Like you were saying... Oh, we've got 200 as
Yeah.
well. 78 cards. And recently, we've had sets that are 200 plus. And I know a lot of people, especially in the Poker Beach comments, people are commenting like, God, if they release another 200 card set, man, like... I just can't. It's just so difficult to complete. And you're pulling stuff, and it's great to pull cards that you've never seen before because the set's so big. But at the same time, you're going to have to
Too
buy a
big.
lot of singles. Yeah. So having a smaller set, don't mind at all. It's definitely on the subset list. Most definitely.
Yeah.
The logo is pretty sweet too. It's just Go, but like 2 little Pokeballs, pretty cool. But I'm glad we're having these breakup sets in between. And Pokemon Go, it seemed like the perfect introduction and the perfect time to introduce this kind of thing as well. Like, Pokemon Go is just such a massive portion of the franchise at this point that it made zero sense leaving it out of the TCG.
Yeah, and I think the other thing on top of that is this is the first season that Pokemon Go has been acknowledged and become a part of the Pokemon World Championship series. Like, even at the European International Championships, that scene was huge. And I remember being in the audience and Pokemon Go got center stage. And on top of that, the crowds were going absolutely wild for these Pokemon Go PvP matches. So I just like that it is a nice merger of the two worlds.
Yeah, it is great. It is great. It's good to see. And hopefully we get some more Pokemon Go sets later down the line. Maybe they'll do like a 2, or like if they release something big for Pokemon Go, they'll end up doing a TCG alongside that. I mean, you might as well. It's there in the franchise. You might as well use it. Um, right, let's have a look at the new English set that has, or no, not has, but is going to be released rather soon. Astral Radiance. You've got
Mm-hmm.
35 plus Astral Radiance cards revealed. So more V stars. I mean, we'll jump into them straight away. Origin forms. Now, we knew the Origin forms were coming, but seeing them in card art form, looking pretty clean. And if I'm not mistaken, Aki CG Works, they are new to creating card art. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember seeing that name anywhere before, so it's cool to see more like CG studios getting involved with the Pokemon Company and creating these sick-looking artworks.
Yeah, because you can definitely tell that these aren't hand drawn. Because like some of the card art, especially from past sets, you can tell like someone put like pen to paper and they look gorgeous. But this is just a very different style of artwork, and I can appreciate that.
Yeah, they definitely look different, that's for sure. And like this set specifically too. Like all the card art looks different.
Mm-hmm.
It's you have the CGI stuff with Palkia, but then I'm looking at a Luxray V card, which is you, that card looks awesome, just like regular V card, and it looks like someone's just painted a card. It looks like, I don't know if you've seen them before. You probably have, but when
Yeah.
people do the Pokemon cards, but they also have painted the entire thing like to increase the border of the frame, like
Mm-hmm.
that is always really cool to look at. But like this looks like one of those, and it looks like someone's literally drawn the card by hand, so that's pretty cool. They also
Yeah.
have the Radiant versions of Pokemon 2, which are shiny. And yeah, you can't have more than
Mm-hmm.
one Radiant Pokemon in your deck, which is also a pretty interesting rule.
I kind of wonder if it has anything to do with the abilities of those Pokemon. Like, I think this is where my TCG knowledge drops off of a cliff because I have no idea what these different abilities do and how strong they're going to end up being. Like, we did see that Radiant Eevee is going to be a part of one of the Pokemon Go premium collection boxes. I pre ordered four of those because, like, I love Eevee. Let's see where it goes. But that's definitely an interesting rule to have. And so I think the Radiant cards are going to become stronger as they are introduced into these sets.
Yeah, it definitely feels that way. And it also feels, going back to the comment we made before, that they are going to be in that reverse holo slot. It just feels like an
True.
amazing rare all over again. And
Yeah.
they're really hammering that home at this point. Plus the trainer gallery cards also in that reverse slot. So they're really making use of that recently. Maybe they saw
Hmm.
people were just getting annoyed, I guess, with pulling infinite reverse holos. Got another Darkrai, and this is the illustration 5-band graphics who've done an absolute ton of graphical work for the trading card game over the years. So it's cool to see them have a different look, going with this other CGI company or
Hmm.
illustrator to work on different cards. But there are, again, just differences, different artwork. Different people, sorry, different artwork. We'll have a look at some of the trainer gallery cards because they're just continuing this train, Rose. Like they
Yep.
are not stopping with trader gallery cards at this point. Like maybe the next set doesn't contain any, but it feels like they're here to stay at this point.
I love that though. I think the trainer gallery art cards that we ended up getting in Brilliant Stars are some of the coolest things. And you were even saying in our last episode, it's kind of a big callback to some of the previous sets that we've had and seeing the characters that you are familiar with in the anime get a chance to be a part of a card with a Pokemon that you love. I think that's just a really, really cool concept. And I love that it's here for at least Astral Radiance.
It, I mean, the Astral Radiance ones look ridiculous. The Shadow Rider
Yeah.
ones, and they're just like flowing through space. I really enjoyed the Ice Rider, just the regular V, just mountains, the Pokemon, and the trainer.
Mm-hmm.
Just like it just looks epic to put it in the simplest terms possible, but it just looks really, really nice.
Yeah.
I'm always a big fan though. I love the V's and the V Maxes, but just the regular ones. I'm like skipping through all these photos, but the God of War is pretty cool. God of War being obviously a fan favorite Pokemon
Mm-hmm.
for many years, and just seeing like a doctor working on the PC while the God of War was kind of chilling and
Yep.
helping. I think that's pretty cool. And just having the yellow frame, I think for me, I think it's the old Pokemon cards. It just reminds me of that. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the Brock's Onyx, that kind of era, Gym Challenge, Gym Heroes that just
True.
twigs that in my brain. They also have, oh man, the Galarian forms, dude. They look
They're
so good
so
as
good.
trainer gallery.
Oh, they look so good. I don't even know if these are, yeah, I guess they're TGs, but holy cow, they look good. And I remember when we got the alt arts in Chilling Reign,
Yes.
I was just blown away. And I am so pumped that they are getting more spotlight with these new trainer gallery cards. It just makes sense also because it's
Yes.
more Sword and Shield era. It's more of like the Crown Tundra. Can't complain.
Yeah, Zamazenta and Zeshin on the screen too. They're
Mm-hmm.
two crazy looking cards. The Zacian one looks so cool. And it has
Yeah,
Enchanted Sword as the ability, which is kind of cool, and Brave Blade.
that
So
is cool.
another little bit there from the actual games. We're getting B is getting another full art trainer card too. We had B before,
Mm-hmm.
but now we get B2, I suppose.
2.0?
Yeah, so she's coming back as a full art. So not all of the cards have been revealed just yet, but these are the ones that we've seen. Because hang on a second. Yeah, 30. So there's 30 trainer
Yep.
gallery cards for this set, which is insane. And again, Rose, I will say it, but the English sets at least, they are tending towards 200 plus card sets. And how do you actually feel about that? Because there are a lot of people that don't like it because they can't collect them all. Haha, pun intended. Because there are just too many.
Well, I think there's two sides of the coin. There's obviously the collectors, which I fall under a part of that category. And I remember when trying to collect even Vivid Voltage, which was one of the largest sets up to that point, it was tough. I don't think I pulled the entire set, and I know a lot of people that do card pack openings for content that they have quite a bit of trouble being able to pull the complete set from these 200 plus sets. On the flip side of things, as a TCG player, I think what's really great about having larger sets is there's more variety to choose from when it comes to building a deck. Now, looking at some meta trends from some of the TCG tournaments we've had so far, variance is not a big part of these tournaments. You're definitely just going to be playing the strongest deck possible, but UIC, a little bit of a different story. We'll get to that in a bit, but I do think that on the one hand, sure, large set collectors, not great. TCG players, on the other hand, I think they're happy with the variety.
Yeah, the variety is always there's always spice of life in it. So at the end of the day, you're going to get more chances to build some weird decks that maybe people have
Mm-hmm.
not thought about because there's some cards you're like, that's weird. That's a good interaction between this other
Yeah.
card, you know. So that is always a good thing. I'm definitely going to pick up some Astral Radiance. I pre-ordered one of the Pokemon Center
Mm-hmm.
ETBs already, so I'll probably end up opening that. We'll
Nice.
see though. All right,
Ooh,
okay.
speaking of cards though, and speaking about like new printers and companies and things like that, there was some pretty big news at the end of April, which was that the Pokemon Company actually bought its trading card manufacturer. They ended up
Oh
acquiring the Millennium
yes.
Print Group, and so that's kind of huge. Jaws, what do you think of the fact that now Pokemon owns this company?
Yeah, it's crazy actually. I completely forgot about that, man. I should have put that in the notes. But yeah, buying the company like that just means they're going to have more, not only like more quality control, because we've seen in the past, I'm thinking to like Evolutions, for example. We've had our own
Mm-hmm.
topics about Evolutions. That's for another time. But in general, you'd find a lot of the cards are just like off center and they were like rushing to print. There were just so many printed that the quality control was dipping slightly. And
Yeah.
owning that printing group is only a good thing. Like, I can't imagine anybody in the company on the printing group side were also like, this is actually kind of bad. Like, no, you're not only now completely stable in your job because the Pokemon company is not going to go somewhere else, but they can also up the
Mm-hmm.
standards, up the quality, and try new things too. There's also possibility for a lot of R&D from the Pokemon company to come in and change things in ways that will obviously benefit them and benefit the
Yep.
consumer too. So I think it's an all-round big win. And we had a problem at the very beginning of the year and the beginning of 2020 mainly, which was the massive explosion in people trying to get into the
Yeah.
TCG. Vivid Voltage boxes were like $300+ because of the big Pikachu, and
Yeah.
the Pokemon Company couldn't keep up. They just could not keep up, and they ended up building another factory, and then the hype died down. What a surprise! But I think they're in a good spot. But buying those factories and just buying that company too is only good news. It really is, and more variants. That's good for me. I mean, I'm down. Anything that just shakes it up just a little bit, like we've seen with the Radiant cards, I'm pretty happy about.
I wholeheartedly agree. The first thing that I thought of when hearing about this acquiration is basically just there's been quite a bit of flack, I feel like, that the Pokemon Company has received for just the overall quality of these cards. Who knows what that's from? Definitely a good shout to mention that demand has skyrocketed for particular products. I remember even like the McDonald's set that came through for the
Oh
25th
my
anniversary.
god.
That was almost impossible
Oh.
to get your hands on. And on top of that, I think that like even I've noticed pulling some cards that there's factory lines on things that are brand spanking new, like right out of the pack. And that's
Yeah.
kind of disappointing when you're trying to build a master set for something and you're like, well, that kind of stinks that 4 out of the 5 reverse hollows that I pulled are not up to snuff for where I would want to keep them for my master set.
Yeah, that is one of the more disappointing things where a card is like completely off center and you're like, what? It's not even the
Yeah,
off center
what
where
is that?
I don't know if you've seen errors like that before, but they have the other card attached to the top
Oh,
of the card and they
yeah.
cut, and it's like, okay, that's kind of funny. But like, if there's just factory lines or just complete off-centering and mis-centering things, like especially if you're super into PSA2 and get everything PSA graded or like
Mm,
just graded, not
true.
just PSA, you're also going to be like, man, I just pulled this, but it kind of sucks. Like, oh,
And like when sending that in, that's going to be kind of a waste of time and money.
yeah, serious.
So,
And it's only going to up the quality control, I think, and in general, um, I hope the people that work at the Millennium Printing Company end up happy as well. Hopefully, it's just
yeah.
not a hostile takeover, but
Oh, no.
they're going to be guaranteed in printing cards for, well, until we're long gone, probably. Like, like I don't think Pokemon's going away anytime soon. So
I don't think so.
that is good. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I actually completely forgot about that. All right, let's move on to what has happened over the last few weeks and why we took a small break, because you've been away.
Yep.
Events have been happening. People have been playing Pokemon. Video game, TCG, Pokemon Go, everything.
Oh, yeah. Well, so I was away because of the European International Championships, and that was the first big major event that we have had since like lockdown. And so it was really great getting a chance to see everybody in person again. And it was the first international where we got a chance to integrate Go. So we had Pokemon Go, Pokemon TCG, and of course the video game all competing at this international championship. So covering the video game, really excited to announce that Eric Rios was the Masters Division winner. He ended up playing a composition that people are looking at as kind of like the biggest threat, but it really wasn't the composition that won. It was how Eric ended up piloting that team in order to take the entire thing home. So Eric Rios from Spain taking the win in the Masters Division. Trading card game I was able to follow a little bit, but it was Gustavo Wada that ended up taking the international championship there. Go, we had Arils that took the Masters Division, and then also for Pokken Tournament DX, Cloud taking first place. So really great competition across the board.
Yeah, it looked great. I did tune in a lot, and it's funny because obviously now we've announced we're doing the Overwatch League and whatnot. But it was funny. I was tuning in and stuff, and I was like, oh, there you are, like on stage. I just found it really funny, and it was cool as well because a lot of these competitions are now getting back to in-person events too. So it's really cool to see, obviously, you and all the other commentators live at the event doing their thing. Like I'm in my mind, like I'm very commentary minded. Like I love talking about commentary and just commentary in general. Like being in a stadium like that, words can't describe how different it is, and being live with your co-caster as well behind a desk.
Yes.
Like, that feels so much better when you can just turn and look at them and go, hello, let's talk. It is infinitely better. So seeing all that kind of stuff with obviously protocols in place, it was really, really awesome. And obviously for the players too, that's also great. Like you don't really want to be stuck at home online, and trading card game obviously can't happen unless you use the online version, so that's good too. So I'm really happy Pokemon are taking the direction and just making sure everybody is safe and well and healthy and going to the events and just making sure that is sustainable. So it has been good. It has been good to watch, and I think it was a fantastic put on event. Really good production too. Shout out to the production team. I was watching. Yeah, I know, so it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was great.
What is coming up next for the tour then? Well, I guess not tour, but you know what I mean, down the road.
Yes. So coming up next, we've got the Indianapolis regionals that are this weekend. And so a bunch of people are maybe kind of looking at this as their first big return to US regionals. We did have one before the Europe International Championships, but some people missed out on it. Some people weren't quite sure if they wanted to attend. So Indianapolis is going to be super, super big. And then we also have a couple of events happening in Europe, but I think the big news is that South America is finally getting a regional this year. And this is when
Hey,
South America events were kind of lacking. So poor LATAM, they're such a, that not vocal's not the right word, passionate. They're a very passionate community and their players are so good, but it was just, I think, a little tough to try to get some of those events on the schedule, but I'm so happy that they finally have a regional this year.
it's really good. Yeah, LATAM
Yeah.
in general, just in esports,
Like
they
every
are some of
esport.
the most passionate fans out there,
Yeah.
which is really cool. So having any kind of events and getting regionals there is really cool, and it opens
Yeah.
up the world stage too. And people are like, wow, these guys are actually really sick. Like, and hey, all for the better when you get the best players playing. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Everybody listening was probably going to be excited for that too later down the line. All right, our last thing on the docket, Pokemon card of the week. It's one of your
Woo.
favorite Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
It is Eevee, but it is Radiant Eevee. So one of the things we were saying, maybe they're in the reverse holo section, but this one specifically is the promo for the super premium or the ultra premium collection. It looks so
Hmm.
cool. The colors at the bottom
Yeah.
are just incredible. I'm not looking at the card art. I'm just looking at the colors: the green, red, blue, yellow, and the brown, just like coming up. The card looks sick.
Yeah. Oh my
God.
gosh, I'm so pumped about this card, not just because it's like an Eevee, but because it's shiny. Like there's
Oh
just
yeah.
really cool features of this card that I think looks so good. And so I am pumped. I think it looks fantastic. And on top of that, just maybe that means we're gonna get like Radiant Eevee Evolutions.
That would be
Please,
kind of
somebody
crazy.
hear me.
Okay, we just had Evolving Skies with every evolution under the sun, but they'll probably
Yeah,
do it again. Let's be real with ourselves here. They put Charizard in like 4 different sets back to back, so like possible
true.
we get evolutions again. Everybody loves them, of course. So yeah. Do you know what? Actually, I got a gripe with evolutions. Not evolutions, sorry. I got a gripe with evolutions, but I got a gripe with not evolution. What did I just say? What's the set? Evolving Skies. God damn, what am I
Evolving
saying?
Skies.
Evolving Skies. I got a gripe with Evolving Skies. Took in all the thunder out of Fusion Strike. Like what the hell? There was Mew
True,
in that set,
though.
and the Celebi secret art, and you just took all of the thunder out of it, and everybody was super. Oh, if they saw evolutions, everybody was like, "Yeah, let's go, Evolving Skies." And I'm like, "What about Mew and Celebi's secret art? Come on, guys! Like Fusion
I
Strike's pretty cool
know.
too." But makes sense. They are definitely the most popular evolutions in the game. That's for definite. But you can, I believe, you said you pre-ordered these boxes already.
Yeah, they're on the Pokemon Center, so they're available for pre-order.
There you go. It's going to be sick. It's going to be a good
Go
time.
get them.
Yeah, that was your Pokemon card of the week. Pretty sick. One more bit of news, I suppose, just surrounding the podcast. We're probably going to start moving to every other week. The Overwatch League is just ramping up. In fact, we got rehearsals in about an hour, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But we're starting tomorrow, so we're going to be ramping up into that, and we're going to both be a little bit more busy. So we're going to go to bi-weekly episodes, so you get 2 episodes a month. It's going to be a good time, but that does mean we'll get a lot more news to kind of talk about and not fill the episode with a little bit more with filler. And that's why it kind of felt this was a good episode, because there's a lot of sets to kind of talk about, a lot of reveals,
True.
and because you ended up taking that time off. So bi-weekly from now on, but still you can check us on Spotify and YouTube, and our social links are obviously down below too. So yeah, other than that, that's about it. I haven't got anything else to say. Give me a final word.
Peace.
There we go. It's done. See you soon.